Hello, millionaires. Welcome to the Millionaire Money Podcast, episode 4. Today, we're going to be talking about why money matters and how you can reclaim your financial power, even if you've never really felt confident about this one area of your life before. Stay tuned. All right, guys, let's get into it. So a lot of you guys know that we've been talking and we are going to be talking a lot about building wealth and growing your finances and really getting a strong financial foundation. And I actually decided that we needed to do an episode about why this matters because we're going to be talking about money so much. So why bother talking about the dreaded thing that a lot of people don't ever want to look at? And in fact, I used to be one of them, right? Many people have a very negative connotation or association with the concept of money because they believe that either, money is the root of all evil or many evils. Money brings disappointments. Money brings challenges. A lot of people have seen and experienced negative situations and somehow it's been tied to money here and there. And for a lot of people, they even believe that the more money a person has, the farther they must be from having a true, genuine kind of faith-filled life, a relationship with God. Some of us, now I'm just going to call everybody out, okay, y'all? I'm just going to go right through and call each one, okay? Some of us think that money has the capacity to literally harden your heart and make you into someone that you don't want to be. And we talked a lot about that in the last episode. So if you haven't watched that episode where we debunked that myth and we really went into that deep dive, you want to go back and watch episode 3. Now, some people feel that earning money is a distraction from the actual work that you've been called to do. And so you hear a lot of people who will actually speak against people who have too much money, judge people who have, and by too much money, I mean whatever they determine is too much money, judge people who have money. We don't like people who because of, and this one is a true one, we don't like the people who because of money have given into some of the societal ills that we see in our world, like human trafficking and drug dealing. Let's be real about it, right? Money has been a part of some of these very atrocious things that have happened in human history. And so we often think about that, and then we highlight, and if you look at the news, if you look at these big platforms, often they're going to highlight the businesses that are embezzling, people who are cheating, or someone embezzled funds, or someone lied, or they cheated to get financial gain. And so you have this hyper focus on the negativity of money in our media and in a lot of our conversations. And yet, at the same time, and so you have that, and one thing as well actually is you have people who will say I don't care about money, I don't like thinking about money, I don't like talking about money, money isn't necessary, it isn't useful, we don't need money, I don't need money. You hear that a lot, and yet still, when push comes to shove, a lot of those same people will pray and ask God for financial breakthroughs. We're happy when we get it and sad when we lose it. There's a lot of people who are called to work in the marketplace as a business owner or as in your job. And if you're called into these arenas, you are going to have to make money. If you're running a business and you are avoiding money, which I used to do, then you are literally setting up your business for failure, which I used to do. And so we as much as we're afraid of talking about it and we treat it like it's this despised thing and we don't want to talk about it, we look at the people who have needs and we say, I wish I had so much money that I could give to that person who needs help. I wish I had enough to do something about that. Remember, you guys ever had those conversations where you talk to people and you talk about some of the issues in the world and you're like, oh gosh, how much I wish I could do something about that. And it's so we need the money to do these things and have this impact, but at the same time, we hesitate about money because we don't want to be labeled. And let's talk about those labels, because there's so many labels that we throw around related to this topic of money. So if somebody is like, you can have money and you can build wealth, then all of a sudden they're focused on like prosperity and they're money focused, and it's just icky to me. And then if somebody is like, okay, they don't want to talk about money a lot, and I come from the Christian faith, then it becomes this thing of like, okay, well, that person's a poverty person. And so there's these labels on both sides of the journey. And I remember in the beginning of this whole journey just being like, I don't want to be labeled. And so how about I just don't talk about it at all? And so I joined the camp of like the ignorance. Like, I'm just not going to talk about it, and we're just going to hope that it works out. Y'all already know my journey. It didn't work out. Okay. At the same time, many of us are watching the people who are living out the calling of God on their lives. Why? Because they don't have the financial pressures any longer. So they're actually able to focus in on the things that God is calling them to do. And we watch them and we're thinking and we're like, wow, I wonder how they can be so free. I wonder how it is that they can build and they can just run and they can do. Now, guys, let me just tell y'all the truth right now. The truth is, money is neutral. Hear me, y'all. Money is neutral. Money is simply a reflection of what is in that person's heart, good or bad. Money will do in the hands of a good person good things, and money will do in the hands of somebody who has ulterior motives bad things. And this is just how money is. A lot of people have been inspired by money to commit some atrocious crimes against other people. But then you have to ask yourself, was it the money that inspired them? Or did the money simply give them a route to do the evil that was in their heart to do in the first place anyway? Because at the same time, their money has helped a lot of people in the world. Like, we are in a generation right now that has done more for poverty than any other generation in our life, like in the past, any other one. Like, we are in a generation where people who have money have been able to make an impact and make a difference and reach out and love and serve and help. And I remember when I started learning about this, where I saw a mentor of mine who, like, I really was in that place of like, I don't know, I don't want to talk about money, blah, blah, blah. And I saw this mentor, and they had built millions and millions of dollars. He had these people that he called, Missionary Millionaires or Millionaire Missionaries. And they would go out into the community, and they had like over 500 help centers, community centers. So they fed food to tens of thousands of people in like out of one center. They had orphanages, they had shelters, they had all these different things to make their community better. And guess what, y'all? All of those things cost money. And so you have to understand, if you are going to build and take back your financial power, you actually have to understand why money matters. You have to understand what is in it. What is the purpose? What is the point? So let's talk about that very quickly. And I'm going to give it to y'all point by point. I hope y'all have a pen and a paper. If you don't, you're driving or something or the other is okay. But anyway, let's go into it. So the first thing is, God's work requires money. Like, the work of doing good on this planet often requires money. I'm a musician, right? So I have albums, and you guys can think about those songs that just lift your spirits. Like, you could be feeling depressed. You could be in the depths of despair. And I mean this. And you listen to a certain song, and it pulls you up, and it gives you hope, and it gives you that breath. And it literally fills you. For some of you, there's these worship songs that you're like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite song. Guys, guess what? Without money, that song would not have found its way to you. Period. Like, it took money, and I say this because I've done 4 albums. I can tell y'all, it takes money to produce music. It takes money to create art and sound that touches people. It doesn't take money to write the song. Writing the song is free. You hearing the song took money. So you have to understand that The work that you're often called to do for a lot of people requires money. Yes, there are the people who don't focus on that, and you're able to, like, your role, if you're in the marketplace, is to give to those people and help those people in their work. But somebody's got to earn the money to get the work done. The truth is, we live in a context on this planet Earth that we are not, like, I know Elon Musk is going to the moon. People are going to the moon. That's great. That's wonderful. But there's still a currency on planet Earth that you can't ignore if you're trying to fly from one location to another to go do really good things. Okay? So that's the first thing, is that the work of living out your calling often requires money. The second thing is money can demonstrate amazing kindness. Like, money can be used to demonstrate kindness and love in such a way. Like, guys, there is something when you are able to give, when you see people in need, real need, and you are actually able to say, like, I can help, I can do that, yeah, I got you, and you can actually alleviate the type of pressure that some people are under. And they look at you and they see kindness. They see the hands and feet of God in kindness and love to them. It's good to, like, be nice to people. You need to be nice, y'all. Okay? So it's good to be nice to people. It's good to encourage people. It's good to pray for people. But there are some moments where they actually need food or light or the rent. Like, they need help. Practical help. And it reminds me of some of you guys may or may not know, like, Salvation Army. One of the ways that they got started was they were out there and they wanted to do good. They wanted to share the gospel of Jesus with all these people. And they noticed that while they were sharing in these poor areas, that people were so hungry they couldn't hear them. And so what did they do? They started a charity to be able to get the food, the clothing, the stuff that they needed for those people to have what they need so they could hear the message and grow in all these other areas. You know, there was something that one of my mentors said. He said that a lot of people that try to, like, oh, money doesn't matter, they don't understand that when you build financial freedom, it actually gives you the mental space and ability to now focus on all these other areas that you keep talking about wanting to do, but you keep running into and running back to make money and running into and running back to make money. And it is absolutely the truth. So money is able to demonstrate kindness. The other thing that I want to say about why money matters, guys, is good people do good things with money. Right? Good people are able, which kind of goes with everything that I've been saying, right? Good people are able to build and create more love, more light, more joy in this world with the money that touches their hands. Money affects your ability. This is another one. Money affects your ability to live out your life's full purpose and calling. And if you're not honest with that, you will get to the end of your life and realize that it did, right? Like, you want to ask yourself, if I felt led in this moment to get up out of this house and go to a different country and serve in this way and serve in that way, would I be free to do that? Or would I not be able to do that because I owe this, or because there's so much financial pressure on me, I don't even know where I'm supposed to be right now. All I know is I gotta be at work. You gotta ask yourself these questions. And here's another one. Money matters for your family. And guys, this is huge. I have talked to so many people who have been so burnt because as children, their parents were like, money doesn't matter, it's all good, it's okay, whatever. And they never took care of their children in the way that they needed to be cared for. And not out of malice, not like because they want to be one way or another, but it really makes a difference, guys, for you to be that person in your family to say, I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna step out of my comfort zone. I'm gonna be that person in my family that stepped up and above to be able to make sure that you have a leg up in the world. There are parents who go out of their way to say, yeah, I may have grown up with struggle, but you are not going to. You are going to grow up. You're going to work hard. You're going to learn these lessons, but you're not going to need to fight as hard to get started as I did. And they actually leave something for their children, not even when they die, while they're alive, for them to be able to get started, get a head start on life. And then you have a lot of parents that don't care about this stuff. And they're just like, and I've heard this. I've heard both sides of this stuff. I've heard people say, hey, as long as I pay my bills. I remember someone even saying, it's okay, Toyin, because when I get old, my children will just take care of me. And I was just like, oh my gosh, wow. Like, that's heartbreaking, guys. Because you have to think about the people in your life. And for those of you who are like, Toyin, I'm in it to win it. I'm ready to change this thing. I'm taking my financial power. That's great. But I want to speak to some of you who are thinking it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It's okay. It's whatever. Who cares? Right? Like, it does matter. Your children will have their own pressures as they get older. They will have their own families to take care of. And even if they don't have their own families, like, you want to be someone who is out of abundance and in the overflow and able to give back to them. Now, if you're not there and you're already much older, that's fine. You still have an opportunity. You can still change. It's not too late, but you have to be able to recognize this, guys. These are realities that nobody wants to tell you about, because everyone by that point is like, okay, let's just not talk about it. Let's just not talk. No, this happens. You have to get serious. Otherwise, somebody is going to be paying the consequence for it. And finally, money matters, and you need to be serious about money. You need to be understanding about money. Like, you have to understand your money and how to build money and how to make money begin to work for you if you want to be trusted with more of it. And for this part, I wanted to just share with you guys a little bit from the parable of the talents. So some of you guys may or may not know this story. It's a story. It's in Matthew 25. And in this story, essentially, there was a master who gave talents to his servants. Now, guys, these talents were money. Back in those days, it was money. These days, the word talent is like gift. Like, I have a talent. I can sing. We have talent shows, right? So we think about talent and we think about these giftings that we have. But the actual story that Jesus shared was talents, aka cash in our day, okay? So he gives them different talents and he tells them to take care of this amount by the time that he comes back. So there was some of them that he had given 1, 2, and 5. 5 talents, 2 talents, 1 talent. And there were some of the servants of that master that took the 5 talents, invested it, and the 5 talents became 10. Another one took it and invested it. The 2 talents became 4. And then the third person took the 1 talent and hid it. And when the master came back, he looked at them and he said, well done, good and faithful servant, to the first 2 people. Now, here's the thing, guys. So many of you will always say, like, oh, the biggest thing I want to hear, y'all know the Thai tribute song that's like, well done, right? It's like, the biggest thing I want to hear when I die is, well done, good and faithful servant. And it's real. Like, that is like it. I want to hear it. You want to hear it. We know that. But we forget the context out of which we ever heard it. It was about somebody who managed their money well. Now, God's probably going to look at a lot more out of our lives, but he's definitely not going to ignore the very example that he used to show the story and the illustration. Okay? And so we want to hear well done. And there was this one servant that took the 1 talent that he had and he buried it. And Jesus said that the master actually said to the one that buried the talent, you wicked and lazy servant. I didn't make that up. That's there. It's written down, black and white. I'll be red and white, depending on the type of Bible you read. So you wicked and lazy servant, not because he threw away that money, but because he didn't allow it to do the work that it was supposed to do. And so then the master rewarded the one that had done well with the money with more money. And in this day, in our age right now, people will freak out about it. Oh my gosh, how is it that the one that has 10 is going to be given more? That's not fair. But it's like God, how do I even put this? Why would God give you money to throw away? That's how I'll put it. You know, when I started learning about wealth, you guys know that part of what happened was before I learned, he had talked to me about what would you do with surplus. And the answer that I had sucked. It was bad. And he didn't give me surplus, because if he had given it to me back then, I would have wasted it completely. But it's like, because I made a decision to learn and grow financially, it opens up the door for him to be able to trust you with more and more and more of it. So money matters so that you are able to learn how to be a good steward of it and actually leverage it for the needs in this world. Guys, there are so many needs in this world. And we are looking for good people to do something about it. And yet you have all these good people that are saying money doesn't matter. And so their hands are tied, and they go, oh, my hands are tied, there's nothing I can do. As opposed to actually taking ownership of the fact that if you can listen to this podcast, I don't care where in the world you live, if you have enough internet to listen to this podcast, to watch this video, you have enough opportunity to create a totally different financial existence for yourself. I've seen people do this all over the world. We have literally worked with clients all over the world, and they are able to totally radically transform their financial situation as long as you have access to books and the internet. And so it's like, God is not a gambler. He's not just going to throw money into the air and say like, oh, I hope she does it right this time. Like, he is very merciful, and he is very gracious, and he loves you, and he will care for you. And at the same time, if you really want to build wealth, you need to do two things. One, you need to commit to creating wealth in the areas that you have the power to do so. You need to make a decision, a choice to take back your financial power. You need to choose to no longer be a victim to your circumstance or to your business or to your industry or to your job. Like, you need to decide, this is what I want to see out of my life. This is the legacy that I want to leave for my family. This is how this story is going to end. Because you have the power to make that choice. You have the power to change the ending of the story, even if you had no control about where your story started. And so if you guys are listening to this podcast and you know that you're at that place of, oh, Toyin, I get it, I agree, money does matter. And yes, maybe for many years, you've thought, no, it's okay, it's fine, and you've ignored it. Maybe you've been in fact, you've run away from it. You've had those beliefs that, you know, rich people are bossy, or rich people are mean, or rich people are whatever it is. And you've just kind of pushed away from this conversation. And you're listening to this and you're saying, I need to get my act together. I need to get my money story figured out. I am ready to reclaim my financial power. If you're watching this and that's where your heart is right now, then I want you guys to go ahead, jump over to our website. It's moneymindsetShift.ca/call. moneymindsetShift.ca/call and book a conversation with myself and with our team, and let's talk about it. Let's see, because on this call, we're going to get you very clear on exactly what it is that's been holding you back financially. We're going to talk about what 3 limiting beliefs you have about money. And once we identify those limiting beliefs, we are going to show you a plan and a strategy to shift them. And then the third thing that we're going to do is we're going to help you guys to create a customized financial freedom plan, because it's not enough to just get all the mind stuff done. Like, yes, the mindset stuff is critical and crucial, and if you don't get that, you can't get nowhere. But after you've done that, you actually need a plan that will actually work. Like, if I change my mindset and I just sat there singing Kumbaya, my Lord, I would not be a multi-millionaire today with 8 streams of income. Like, you guys need to learn how to create an actual financial freedom plan that works in your industry with your goals for your life and your family. And so on that call, we're going to have that conversation. We're going to help you to create one, and we're going to have a lot of fun while we do it. I love you guys, and definitely make sure that you share this episode with those of your friends that need to hear that it's okay to get serious about having a different financial reality. So make sure that you share this video or share this podcast episode, however you're listening to it. Make sure you hit the follow button. Make sure you hit the like button. You hit the subscribe button, whatever button you see, hit it. And I'll see you guys this time next week. Have a good one. Hey millionaires, thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you want to subscribe, there's a little picture of me right here. Click on that. And if you want to have a free financial breakthrough session with my team, then you can go on ahead and click on the button right here or visit moneymindsetShift.ca/call. I'll see you guys on the next show. Bye-bye.